Hi, Vincent. So thank you for taking time to share your experience with me in our hypnotherapy sessions. I know a lot of people out there are struggling with betrayal and emotional pain, just like you were when we first started. So can you take me back to where you were before we began our work? What were you dealing with at the time? You don't have to be very specific, but just what were your feelings or challenges day to day?
Absolutely. I was struggling on all fronts. I was, you can call it rumination. I think it was
Mm-hmm.
more intense than that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I was hyperventilating constantly and rage crying uncontrollably uh,
Mm-hmm.
for almost 16 months. And It was getting worse. And I tried numerous different uh, psychotherapy, numerous different avenues, and I found it to be, for lack of a better word, an insurance scam. I felt like nobody was really even getting to know me. They were trying to push SSRIs on me, um,
Mm-hmm.
which I felt was not correct. Um, and after many different attempts, um, I came across randomly your ad on Instagram, and
Great.
in the
I'm
last
happy you did.
which that there's risk involved in that as well, especially after going through
Mm.
loss of business and betrayal.
Yeah,
That could be a leap of faith as well. But
for
I
sure. Especially since your ability to trust was so impacted.
absolutely,
To trust a
absolutely.
stranger on the internet and hire him.
I was right. I was like, here we go again.
Right.
No, look, fast forward 6 weeks later, um, your method, your approach, even your bedside manner throughout the process has been completely professional, um, to the point where one can tell, I could tell that you've experienced a lot of life and you've experienced something similar.
Hmm.
You understand the ins and outs,
Yes.
and your method as someone who meditates and uses guided meditation uh, for your practice really benefited. I would say is a different using a different method was helpful because I needed everything I could get.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I think that
Yeah.
using a different
Hmm.
method really was helpful.
Good.
A different visualization, a different process.
Hmm.
I know the
And
science
so,
behind it. Yeah.
at what point did you realize that this process is helping you? Was there a moment where something just clicked?
Yes. There was a morning I woke up soon after our first session
Hmm.
where I was expecting to start hyperventilating and rage crying
Hmm.
immediately, and it didn't happen. Um,
Mm.
I would,
Wonderful.
yeah, I had the thoughts were going on, and I even like heaved a little bit
Hmm.
in anticipation of it happening, and nothing happened. And then I was
Mm.
wondering, that's when I was like, whoa, something's wrong. I'm not hyperventilating.
Yes.
Um, and I can't tell you that I was cognizant of this type of therapy actually I like working, like I couldn't notice it. It just
Hmm.
sort of just started happening.
Yes. And so, what was it like to go through your first hypnosis sessions? Did anything in the process surprise you?
I wouldn't say surprise. I would say it was like a pleasant, refreshing
Hmm.
version.
Hmm.
And I would say that for the first one at least, um, I believe that I did go to a sacred space, which
Hmm.
is something that I've always have kind of tapped but never really got into.
Yes.
This really allowed me to fill into it, um,
Mm.
and actually have the ability to then create space.
Wonderful. So now that you've gone through this hypnotic journey with me, how do you feel compared to when we first started?
Oh my goodness. I feel, I mean, it's been a progression. Each
Hmm.
week has felt a little bit lighter.
Yeah.
Um, I would say halfway in, I started to almost, I was taking steps forward, but it felt like steps back. I was kind of
Hmm.
going in and out, where I was still feeling the full force of what I was previously feeling.
Yeah.
Then a little bit of encouragement. Oh, wait, I'm not hyperventilating. Oh, wait, I did get a good
Hmm.
night's sleep. Oh, wait, I'm getting, I'm able to organize my day a little bit better where I can get a couple, like nothing was getting done. And now I can get a couple things done, cross my list off,
Yes.
accomplish what I need to. It, it, it allowed me to get in motion.
Hmm. So what are some things that you're able to do now that felt difficult or impossible before? I think you
Oh,
mentioned sleep for
I
one
can have
thing.
a, right. Yeah, no, no, I consistently now am getting at least 6 to 7 hours of sleep, at least.
Hmm. Yeah.
I am consistently on a daily basis going to the gym, um, and getting in a full workout where in the
Mm.
past 18 months, when I was able to go to the gym, I would just lay on the ground and hyperventilate and cry. It was embarrassing.
Mm.
Maybe stretch, and then I would just leave. Or I would drive to the gym and sit in my car, cry, hyperventilate, and then just drive back
Hmm.
to my familiar place.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Thank you for sharing all this. I know it can be tough, and you're being very vulnerable, and I want to acknowledge that too. And you know what? A lot of people out there who are struggling with betrayal, they also struggle to move forward. That's part and parcel of feeling going through the betrayal story. And so some of these people out there might be unsure if hypnotherapy is right for them. What would you say to someone who's on the fence about working with me or trying hypnosis?
Um, as someone who was searching, it seemed almost endlessly, which takes a lot of effort when you're in crisis. And then to just to even try to get a recommendation to somebody that can help you, those avenues aren't people. You find a lot of people saying they're there to help you, and then they're not. I would
Hmm.
say that if you find yourself in a position where you're stuck, you're not getting the help you need, you don't have a support system, this is absolutely worth your while.
Hmm.
I actually happen to know the science behind it, but even without knowing that, um, you're able to make a connection with a human who is uh, compassionate, at the same time professional. You These sessions are able to calm the mind down,
Hmm.
see light at the end of the tunnel
Yeah.
without using any type of drugs, without having to get in your car and go to an office,
Hmm.
without having to go through insurance. Um, Honestly, it's an incredible deal for what it is.
Mm. Good. Thank you. And so finally, in just a few words, what's the biggest reason you would recommend working with me?
Oh, well, well, it's easy for me to say that as I've seen the progression, I've seen it work.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
I still have to work on myself, but it has definitely gotten me out
Yeah.
of it's what seemed to be a hopeless, non-ending 17 to 18 month hyperventilation, rage crying, rumination. It slowed my mind down. It was
Hmm.
able to do things for me that meditation couldn't.
Yeah.
Um, I would say this is about one of the healthiest ways to claim your life back.
Mm, that's wonderful. Very well said. I'm also happy you mentioned that this had the science behind it because hypnosis isn't magic. There's specific science to it and specific brain waves that we tap into. So I'm glad you mentioned that. Listen, thank you so much for your time and for allowing me to serve you. I'm really proud of you. I'm really proud of you of what what you've achieved over this short space of time. And I appreciate you sharing your experience with other people who might be on the fence. Thank you so much.
Of course, thank you. Thank you.